SUN has made the Unix workstation accessible.
Suddenly, you can bring the power of mainframe computing down to the desktop for the Joe average user in the corporation.
Just the feel of OpenLook, the feel of how that works is going to be very important to us.
And the opportunity for very powerful RISC-based workstations of the kind offered by SUN and its Spark family presents opportunities that may surprise us all.
Every once in a while, a great opportunity emerges. That time is now. With SUN's strategy to widely license its Spark technology and the power of reduced instruction set computing, a new direction is underway. The Unix marketplace, in a word, is exploding. Its multi-user, multitasking, and networking abilities make it the ideal foundation for the era of distributed computing. The major player, SUN Microsystems, with 36% of the workstation market. SUN's commitment to network computing and OpenLook means expanding growth markets for major software developers. For the smaller ISV, the time is right to get in on the ground floor of a major new opportunity. Either way, the case is clear.
The advantage to this, perhaps many hundreds of MIPS on the desktop before too long, is simply additional graphics capability, display capability, color capability, communications capability that applications like FrameMaker as a publishing tool can simply exploit.
One of the things which I think that people are just starting to understand is the decision to license the Spark technology and create a whole third-party industry, which on the face of it would compete with SUN, but in reality will create a very large install base of SUN-compatible workstations.
Shipping 1 million new platforms a year, or shipping at that rate within the next 12 months is clearly possible. And perhaps doubling that rate within the next 24 months is also possible.
And what we're seeing, of course, now is a consolidation of the Unix market, making it attractive for vendors such as ourselves to create shrink-wrap software for that market.
The key environment for creating that software is Open Windows. Included is a high-performance, fully compliant X11 implementation called X11Use, as well as the Open Fonts font technology, with 57 scalable fonts. 2D and 3D graphics libraries are also available. Open Windows also provides the OpenLook graphical user interface and desk-set productivity tools for the end user, while offering developers the XView and OpenLook Intrinsics toolkits. These toolkits, together with the Open Windows Developer's Guide, offer ISVs a comprehensive, cost-effective way to develop new applications.
One of the major challenges for all ISVs, whether they're small companies or larger companies like Lotus, is to pick the development platforms that, number one, give us our best return on our investment, and number two, and probably most importantly, is to choose a platform where customers are likely to buy your application software.
Lotus shipped 1.2.3 for SUN in spring 1990. A full Open Windows version is now in the first stages of development.
First of all, with SunView, as with most windowing environments, users get the advantage of being able to better manage their data. And that means both in sharing files as well as being able to access the software throughout the network.
This is all the functionality of Rev 3 of 1.2.3.
Absolutely.
We think as we move forward into an Open Windows environment, the network capabilities that an X implementation of the application will give you in terms of the multiple windows into the network is ultra important to the customer. So far, our experience with Open Windows has been very positive. We're using the OpenLook Intrinsics toolkit, for instance, for our development process. We're using the Open Windows Developer's Guide to write all of our functional specifications with, and also using the fonts and the desktop versions of the toolkit. So that has really, to date, made everything quite easy for us, and we think will help to keep us on schedule as we develop the product.
they'd rather see pent-up demand.
2 years ago, we saw Sun as a clear leader in the workstation market. Here we are in 1990, and Sun is very much maintaining that leadership role, and from all we can project, will continue to do that into the early and mid-90s. So certainly from Lotus's perspective, it makes a heck of a lot of sense to continue to develop in that environment on Sun stations, and OpenLook being the key environment.
I chose to do an Open Windows port for the simple reason that it is clear that Sun is going in that direction.
It's going to do it for real here.
Mark Ramsey completed a working Open Windows version of AutoCAD in just 2.5 weeks.
As a software engineer developing these sorts of applications, I'm really looking for two things. I want to make the job easy on myself, in that I really don't want to have to write a lot of software to get the job done. And on the other hand, ultimately, our goal is really to make the application easier to use for our end users. Open Windows and XView in particular solved both of those problems for me, in the sense that XView made a very easy transition from SunView. I really didn't have to do a lot in terms of reworking things to function in a different environment. I did intentionally make some changes in order to provide better performance, and that was relatively straightforward. One of the other nice features of Open Windows is that they have a very strongly specified style guide. We can really tailor how the screen appears. I can make use of pinnable menus. That's a feature that I think our end users are very useful, for the simple reason that by pinning a particular menu off to the side on their screen someplace, it means that the commands on that menu are readily accessible to them. So Open Windows is one of those environments where we're really planning to provide a lot of support for those sorts of capabilities.
If OpenLook is going to help Unix, then it's going to help Interleaf.
He said, what do you mean? I said, well,
For electronic publishing system developers like Interleaf, the decision to go to an Open Windows environment was simple.
A problem is created, and therefore an opportunity. The problem is you get a lot of disparate applications that are working in different environments. The users aren't going to be able to absorb that technology because they're going to be learning. What is important, and particularly where OpenLook plays, it's going to allow applications to exist within a Sun environment that's going to allow the user to get very, very productive in many of these disparate applications. Interleaf, as an example, interfaces to CAD packages, case packages, Lotus. They want the same type of interface. They want the data to be able to be exchanged easily. They want to be able to develop applications in that same environment that their other applications are written in.
The Open Windows environment includes DeskSet with every copy, with features such as File Manager, Mail, Print and Tape tools, and a calendar. Features which can cost up to $1,000 per seat with other windowing systems.
When the end user takes the cost of a workstation, it isn't just the workstation when they look at price performance. So if I can get workstations at a sub $5,000 price, and I can get software that's going to fit on that workstation with the appropriate price point, the productivity gains, the return on investment that corporations go through are going to have very, very quick paybacks, which means that they're going to be buying a lot more and therefore fuel more growth, which will fuel more applications, and the more seats and more workstations we get on corporate desks, the more technology we're going to have to provide for those workstations. And for that customer, they committed to it. They said, yes, we'll do it. There's a utilization gap between what a user has and what the user actually uses that's built into the technology. That utilization gap is an area that is a lot of feature-rich products that the users never get to because it's too difficult to get to. And with OpenLook and Unix being able to make that easier, you're going to have higher utilization of software and technology, which I think is better for all of us.
Informix was really founded 10 years ago on two very radical principles. One was that Unix was going to become a mainstream commercial operating system, and the second was that relational database software was going to play an important part in that evolution. We've seen now over the years that, in fact, all of those things have come to pass. and that users can now gain access to information stored in databases like Informix Online, using the simple point-and-click interface provided by OpenLook, and using the kind of desktop environment provided by Open Windows, so that users never have to see anything else. Suddenly, managers or typical workers within corporations will have access to systems that until now were only available to engineers who knew how to use them. This is the way most people are used to looking at the information stored in their corporate database, and has two big problems. First of all, it doesn't tell you a lot unless you search through it. And secondly, it usually takes 2 weeks to get to you because you're depending on someone else to generate a report for you. What we've tried to do is to provide through our Wings product and its data link capability, the ability for people to get dynamic and instantaneous views of their data using a simple point-and-click kind of interface. It gives the user the ability to get at that information instantly and easily without having to become an expert on databases or wait for days or weeks to generate reports, which then still don't give you the kind of dynamic view of the data that you really want. As you look at the market, there's probably 25 to 30 million PCs on desktops today, and that continues to grow at a phenomenal rate. And the reason for that isn't because they've necessarily solved the problem best. It's simply because they are accessible. With products like Open Windows, suddenly workstations are usable by the mass marketplace, and suddenly there's a very compelling reason on the part of third-party developers like Informix to move our software onto those platforms, because the market is going to open up tremendously. We think that both Sun and Informix are excellent complementary partners to move into the 90s, and that's really the complementary kind of relationship that we think turns into a great opportunity in the market and great business for both companies.
There are few times in the computing industry when the number of platforms being shipped from a new computing technology have ever exceeded what's going on today. And riding along with that and being a part of it is very, very exciting.
I think clearly that, that OpenLook is going to be a very viable, excellent user interface standard. Our own internal people are extremely happy with it.
It's a hell of an exciting time, no question about it.